Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to Dash to Shoot, my weekly episodic show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. Unless it's something like today's episode, where we're doing predictions for tonight's In Your House NXT, and then tomorrow night's Hell in a Cell. So, as you know, I have been keeping track of my predictions. Real quick, let's look at the standings. So far on the year of 2022, I'm 30-11. So last review, WrestleMania Backlash, it's 3-3 record. We will see how good I'll do this year, or at least in these upcoming two events, NXT and Hell in a Cell. I think there's a good chance I might go perfect, but we'll wait and see. But let's go ahead and let's start with tonight's In Your House. So let's start with the families going at each other. Legado del Fantasmas, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro taking on the family, I guess, with Tony D'Angelo, Channing Stats Lorenzo, and Troy Two Dimes Donovan. These names, I just don't know. Anyway, listen, they had Tony D'Angelo beat Tommaso Ciampa, so he is the Don of NXT, and I would think that he is going to continue. He lost a couple weeks ago on NXT to Santos Escobar, but I think tonight he gets his revenge along with his boys. I think they take out Legado del Fantasma. I'm thinking Tony D'Angelo, Stacks, and Two Dimes to to win. And we'll see what happens after that. Be the real Don of NXT. Next, for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, we have Toxic Attraction taking on Katana Chance, formerly known as Casey Cantazaro, if you do not know, and Caden Carter. This is why sometimes a surprise win, surprise title change can be bad. I think sometimes it can be good. I also think sometimes it can be bad. And I think this is one of the cases where it can be bad because we just had at Stand and Deliver, Toxic Attraction lose the titles to Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. They then, on the next NXT, won them back. And Dakota Kai got shortly after release. Raquel Gonzalez got called up to the main roster. Now Raquel Rodriguez. It probably would have been better to just go ahead and keep the titles on Toxic Attraction, and for this month, because I think this is now where it would be a good chance for a victory, because they would have been, Mandy Rose, I think she's heading down that road of being the longest reigning NXT Women's Championship if she's not already surpassed it. I think she's been like over 200 days. It was promoted like 2 or 3 weeks ago on Twitter. So she's heading down that road. And I think this would have been cool to have her mates head down that road anyway to be the longest reigning women's tag champions, and they probably are anyway with their last reign. It's been a short time invented, but still, this would have been a good time for Katana Chance and Kaden Carter to win. And I guess they still could win, but I feel like to have just taken it off and then quickly put it back on, just to take it off again, 2 months later doesn't feel right with me at this point. I feel like that maybe this is with all the influx of the women coming in that they're bringing in. I think we are soon going to see more teams and more title shots and everything like that. I kind of feel like this may be heading down the road of like maybe when SummerSlam comes around. I think both, all three members of the title attraction will probably lose their championships at that point. But right now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to choose Toxic Attraction to retain the NXT Tag Team Women's Championship. For the NXT Tag Team Championship, we have Pretty Deadly taking on the Creed Brothers. It has been bestowed down by Roderick Strong himself that the Creed Brothers do not win they would be kicked out of Dynamite. Now, while I can really see that happening, as Roderick Strong could at any time be released because he's asked for his release several times, apparently over the last several months. Uh, and they could also go a different way because it seems like that Roderick Strong and Damon Kemp are heading down a heel path, while the Creed brothers are going down a babyface road, along with Ivy now. So um, it could happen either way. But I would think that this has got to be where you put the title on the Creed brothers. I really do think this is where it goes, and so yeah, I'm choosing the Creed brothers to become new NXT Tag Team Champions for the North American Championship. Champion Kevin Grimes takes on Carmelo Hayes. This is probably the match that's going to steal the show, be the best match of the night. Two final workers between Grimes and Carmelo Hayes. Again, we just had Cameron Grimes win the North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes he was the former champion. He lost it in a ladder match. So this seems right to run this to run this match here. But Solo Sikoa right now it has a crowd totally behind him. He's the third Uso, as none of us in wrestling those who know what that means. Um, and I think he's the one that's going to beat Cameron Grimes. I think it does seem like that this is a good time because Cameron Grimes is getting some boos, especially when it comes down to him and Solo Sikoa. So this could be a rare thing where Solo will beat Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes turns on Solo and becomes a heel. So I think that could totally be the case. So I think here, Cameron Grimes, unless it's a major upset, Cameron Grimes should retain the North American Championship. In a match that Jim Cornette would say, what in the French fried titty fuck are they thinking putting this on? Mandy Rose, the NXT Women's Champion, taking on Wendy Chu. I'm almost willing to say that she's right. She's like neck and neck with Pockets as being the dumbest gimmick in wrestling today. Maybe right just under me is Joey Janela, with his gimmick being a wrestler. So it's weird and it's stupid. You know, she posts pictures on Twitter of her in like her regular clothes, things like that, and it's just like wow, just give her some normal gear, get her away from this sleeping dumbass gimmick, and start wearing onesies and footy pajamas and anything like that. Just get her out of there and just never be Wendy Chu like a regular wrestler. Hopefully that does happen. And then maybe if she can survive that and get up to, she can get back to being, a title contender. But she's not one right now, and this should be an easy one. Again, it's Mandy Rose. It's gotta be Mandy. I'm thinking the next champion is going to be Cora Jade. Although they've been doing this thing with her and building up the friendship with her and Roxanne Perez and so that could be something there. That could be a turn there for Cora Jade. And then of course you always have Nikita Lyons. So that's that. But I think this is no doubt a question. It's Mandy Rose is the winner. It should be the winner here. Now, I'm actually not gonna say it because if it somehow I thought for sure that Ronda was gonna win at WrestleMania. So I'm not gonna say what I would do if Wendy Chu would win because then I'd have to do it. But please no, Mandy Rose. So really quick to recap before we get to our main event. Tony D'Angelo stacks in 2 dimes, go over Legado del Fantasma. Tati Jackson retains the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. The Creed brothers, they obtain the NXT Men's Tag Team titles. Cameron Grimes retains the North American Championship. Mandy Rose retains her NXT Women's Championship. And now the main event, Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy. Braun Breaker gets disqualified. Joe Gacy wins the championship. Now, I think the Creed brothers are the one. Even though I'm predicting the Creed brothers to win, I could also see Pretty Deadly winning. Like I said when I talked about it, and then doing the thing where Roderick Strong gets rid of them and things like that, and then they have to, so whatever. But I think this one also, believe it or not, is also one was for a myriad of reasons, right? Right now, Braun Breaker, he could be on the fast track to the main roster, even though I don't want him to be. I think he still needs to stay in NXT for, I would at least say, another year. At least another year. Yeah, at least another year. This is my thing when it comes to NXT. I think that if you're not going straight to the main roster, and if you're going to NXT, right? So you're going to NXT, you should have, you know, you should have 18 months to 3 years being down there, depending on your fast track and how good you are and things like that, and just what else is needed, to be down there in NXT. Because listen, especially with their now new edict of all young folks, they're all young down there. There's maybe like nobody under over 30 maybe there. Down in well, I don't want. Well, maybe there might be. I don't know. Maybe Mandy might be the only one. She might be the only one that's over 30. If she even is 30, but that's not either there. But they're all young people, so they can so they can be down there for 3 years, and then when they make it to the main roster, they don't get cut. They'll still be in their 20s, still be in their 20s, getting ready to go into their prime for wrestling. So it's totally fine. So I think Braun Breaker can stay, but I could definitely see them fast track Braun Breaker to the main roster and have him be in that Money in the Bank ladder match. Hell, he could probably be in the Money in the Bank ladder match without him even still being the NXT champion. So that said, I don't the stipulation is what is the thing that gets me. The stipulation, about being disqualified. Because usually when there's a stipulation about if someone gets disqualified, like 99% of the time, the person gets disqualified, and the man and so. But I think it's smart money. And Devon Dudley's down there so I think they've got a good crew down there in NXT, and I think the smart money is to keep it on Braun Breaker. So I'm going to say Braun Breaker wins and retains the NXT Championship. And now for tomorrow night's Hell in a Cell match. Not match. We'll do the match later, but tomorrow night's Hell in a Cell premium live event. Let's start the match that was just made last night. The only SmackDown match as of right now. They might put one on the pre-show if they do it. They haven't done, no pre-show match at WrestleMania, no pre-show match at WrestleMania Backlash, so we'll see. But right now we have Madcap Moss taking on Happy Corbin in a no-holds-barred match. 3 weeks ago, Happy Corbin pulverized the neck of Madcap Moss with using the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy and crushed his neck. Madcap Moss came back last night. No suspenders, better gear, more serious focus. He got himself disqualified in the match last night against Corbin, but there will be no rules come thing. As we got just lost my train of thought there. Don't get old, y'all. All y'all young folks out there, do not get old. There'll be no rules in the no holds barred match tomorrow night. I think this is easily, I think it's going to be more competitive, but I think this should, in our ideal situation, that this would be an easy, Wardlow MJF type match where it's just domination from Madcap Moss. Happy Corbin gets nothing in, and Madcap Moss gets the victory. 5 minutes. Let it be the. Don't make the mistake of putting this on second before last or anything like that. I mean, you have your second before match last between Bianca, Becky Lynch, and Asuka. That should be on. That should come on last. Or I would even take the Judgment Day AJ Styles and Battle Liv Morgan match. Put that on second of last. Don't put this on second before last. It doesn't need to be. I don't think it needs to kick off with it as well. I think you can do Bobby Lashley and almost MVP. That should totally be the first match of the night. But anywhere between 2 and 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's good. That's a good place for it. It shouldn't be 6, second before last. It shouldn't be 7th, the main event. The main event is the Hell in a Cell match. That's point blank, period. But yeah. So, but yeah, I think without question, Madcap Moss, he has to win this. He's been getting cheered, and he's been a real good, great thing they're doing with him. Have him beat Happy Corbin, then he needs to move on. Needs to move on to another play, but keep him on television. I would move him. I would move him into the slot of putting him with, as Drew McIntyre transitions over to Roman. I would, in the bloodline, I would push Madcap Moss into the New Day feud with the Sheamus and those guys. So Madcap Moss beats Happy Corbin. No holds barred. Kevin Owens takes on Ezekiel. This is also another good match to kick off the night. Kevin Owens, has been saying that Ezekiel is actually Elias, while Ezekiel has been saying he is Elias's younger brother. And everything that Kevin Owens has done is covered that. He tried a DNA test, it came back inconclusive. He tried a lie detector test, it turned out he wasn't lying. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night between Kevin Owens and Ezekiel. I think this may be one of those things where Ezekiel will get the win, but after the match, Kevin Owens will get his heat back by giving Ezekiel a beatdown. So I'm going to say that Ezekiel wins the match. The team of AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan, what some people are calling Bulliv Cub, taking on Judgment Day. Edge, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest. In the last 3 matches, there has been a person showing up and joining Judgment Day. Could this happen again? I think this would be the last time that they could do it on a pay-per-view. At least for right now. Well, premium live event, excuse me. It could be, maybe down the line, maybe if someone else joins, it could be joining at SummerSlam. I think you need to probably leave Money in the Bank alone. And doing some Raw stuff too. Edge has been, for the last several weeks, has been putting up pictures of people that he thinks just on Twitter, just putting up pictures, and I'm sure on Instagram as well, of people who could possibly be joining Judgment Day. So who knows what's going to happen? This is one of those things where this is a faction that I think they just need to continue on to do well with. And there's a lot of rumors and speculation back after WrestleMania that this it was going to be Tommaso Ciampa was going to be one of the things, be one of the members of Judgment Day. So you could definitely see that happening. This one is a tough one because, again, just like with Ezekiel and Kevin Owens, both could win, but it makes sense, at least in my opinion, that AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan get the win. And then you get a Judgment Day jump, right? Because now, who else do you have to to do this Judgment Day stuff with. So, um, yeah, I think to keep it continue, it has to be AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan winning. I think so. And then maybe afterwards, Alpha Burst, as Jim Cornette likes to say, and then Judgment Day, we get another member of Judgment Day, and we can go from there. And then someone else, they're Finn and Styles and Liv, they all need a fourth. So, but yeah, I'm going to say AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan will win this match. Now, you want to talk about somebody that would be good to go up against Judgment Day, but Bobby Lashley. And I think perfectly would be. And this handicap match is coming up between Bobby Lashley, almost an MVP. Almost an MVP, get the victory. Bobby Lashley, you know, he gets his hands on the MVP. But then Omos finally gets the victory, and then we can move on from this. But then Bobby Lashley goes on to Edge, and Edge calls out Bobby Lashley for losing to Omos. And he wants him to join that, and then that's what starts him the Judgment Day. And maybe even if that fourth player comes into Judgment Day's effect, Bobby Lashley can now join AJ Styles and Finn Balor and Liv Morgan, join their crew. And now we've got a 4-on-4 cluster mess that can go on here and could go and could maybe end at SummerSlam in a after the match where maybe the team that loses can never be can't be a group or a club again, and of course Judgment Day would win. So but yeah, I think Omos MVP, and particularly more or less Omos, has to win this. If they are going to they are going to have this happen, with Omos, he needs to get victories, and he needs to get major victories, and he really should not. He really should not be losing anything at all. Some people would say, "Well, MVP's in this match so that he can take the fall, so he doesn't beat Omos." But it's still a loss on Omos' record, so I think Omos has to win this one. So I'm going to say Omos MVP beat Bobby Lashley in a handicap match, as they should. It's 2-on-1. Even though Bobby Lashley's the Almighty, still 2-on-1. So this past Monday night on Raw, Ali was taking on the pre-mentioned Ciampa, with the stipulation that if Ali won, he would get a shot at the United States Championship. Theory calls the DQ so that he could win. He announced the match that was going to happen right now, and it didn't happen. Ali couldn't get out the blocks, and it was a very dominant victory for Theory. However, after the match, Adam Pearce came out and said that Vince McMahon has ordered a fair fight at Hell in a Cell between Ali and Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And so this is the match we're going to have. I don't think they're putting the title on Mustafa Ali. I think right now what WWE's doing is that they are making an example of Mustafa Ali. I think Sasha Banks and Naomi should be watching and listening. You don't want to do right. You don't want to do business the right way. But this is what you get. You'll get completely buried. And so much so. And I think that's what Mustafa's going to be. Mustafa won one match. I think he beat the Miz. He's lost every one. This past one where he won by DQ. But I think he's lost every one. I think he'll lose again on tomorrow night. And Theory will remain the United States Championship. For the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair is taking on Becky Lynch and Asuka in a triple threat match. Now, we all know what this was supposed to be. This was supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Naomi. However, her and Sasha Banks took their ball and went home. So this turns out to be a triple threat match. So some on-the-fly booking from WWE has given us probably would be a pretty good match. Probably could be the match of the night. I don't know. I think the main event is going to kill, especially after what we heard this past Monday. But This I think is gonna be very good. We got three of the best going right now in WWE, um, and it's gonna be it's gonna be fantastic. It's obviously too early for Bianca Belair to lose a championship. Although again, if you want to do a surprise thing, we talked about NXT surprise victory for like Oscar, have Oscar win. So then and then have Bianca Belair win it back on Monday night as Becky Lynch would cost Oscar, and then they could go back at each other, as it was intended on doing, I would think. But it's I think it's getting too early for Bianca Belair to lose the championship. Again, I'm hoping that come SummerSlam as a Ronda Rousey Bianca Belair unification match that we'll see, Ronda winning. Um, but right now, I think this is where we at, and I think this is gonna ruin. It just depends on who's gonna take the pin. Is it gonna be Becky Lynch or is it gonna be Asuka? That's the bet. But I think the winner will be Bianca Belair. And to quickly recap my predictions for Hell in a Cell, Madcap Moss will beat Baron Corbin in No Holds Barred match. Ezekiel will beat Kevin Owens. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan will beat the team on the Judgment Day. Omos MVP takes down Bobby Lashley. Theory retains his United States Championship over Ali. Bianca Belair retains her Raw Women's Championship over Asuka and Becky Lynch. And the main event, a match that has, in a week span, has gone from intriguing to must see, if I may say so myself. Although we heard the promo from Raw from Seth Owens, and then the whole angle that went down after the promo. This is awesome. This is incredible. I've talked about this before on this channel and on this thing. I don't know if we need a lot of blood in wrestling. I think here and there I think it's fine. But it shouldn't be every week or every other week like you see in AEW or like WWE used to do back in the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression era, more or less in the Ruthless Aggression era. It doesn't mean need it every week, boys. This would be a match that again that would be really good for. Like I talked about how Ronda and Charlotte. If it happened, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset here, especially with it being inside Hell in a Cell and the stuff that they talked about. Oh man, and we know Cody likes to. He wants to be his father's father. And his father had no qualms of gigging, for the match, for the business. And neither does Cody. But I don't think you need to. I've hoped they've done this. I really hope they've had Brock Lesnar show people how to do the elbow to the head and get color that way. Yes, it can cause a concussion like it did with Randy Orton. I think it may have did with Roman Reigns as well. I don't think Roman Reigns wrestled for a couple of weeks after that. After that WrestleMania 34. But I mean, this is a perfect time for it. Now, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't go too far into the garbage territory where we get a whole bunch of tables and other things like that. A steel chain, maybe a chair, maybe even some handcuffs. Maybe handcuff Cody to the ring ropes or something like that. Whipping with a weight belt, something like that. Do some damage. I'm all for that. Make it violent. Don't go, but let's not go into the garbage territory like the one with Edge and Rollins. It kind of almost went there with everything with the ladder and the tables and things like that. Doesn't necessarily need. This just needs to be a fight that's contained inside the cell. So I always say the original ones were probably the best ones, and just like the ladder match for Shawn and Razor, the Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker and Michaels, that was the best. And they didn't do a lot of things. There wasn't a lot of tape. There was actually no tables, no ladders, no other things like that. There was a steel chair, and that was really it. So let's go, boys. Let's do this. And I think there's no doubt about who's going to be the winner. It's Cody Rhodes. It has to be. Cody Rhodes. I don't know. I don't know when Cody Rhodes should lose, but I don't think it should be now, and it should not be to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins right now is untouchable. You know, he can get his heat back and everything like that's fine. Once this is over, he could go into a feud. Another person that can go into a feud with Bobby Lashley. You know, go into a feud with AJ Styles or Finn Balor or someone like that, and get his victories and heat back that way. So this isn't needed. Cody Rhodes should win this. This should be an epic match. This is going to be one of those things where I think that we're going to be talking about this maybe for the rest of the year. When we talking about at the end of the year, this could win my match of the year, winner. And I know people a lot of praise him, but I have this feeling that we're going to see something special tomorrow night in this Hell in a Cell match, with the winner being Cody Rhodes. All right, y'all, that is going to be it for this episode of That's a Shoot. We'll be back next week on a normal day, Friday, doing our normal episode. But also today, special day, tonight in your house, NXT, and then tomorrow night, Hell in a Cell. Make sure you are here on my YouTube channel, or you can catch me on Twitch or D Live or Twitter. Anywhere you go, I'm going to be doing my rapid reaction to the match, but to the event, both tonight and tomorrow night. After it goes off, come back here, click the notification bell so that when I go live, you'll be able to come in, join us, and we can talk about it, especially tomorrow night. But that should be that excellent main event happening. So make sure we are here for this, guys. Okay? All right? All right. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Post who are your predictions for tonight's In Your House event, tomorrow night's Hell in a Cell. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.